Hello. Today's devotional is for Monday, January 25th, 2021. And today we will be taking a look at Amos. So let's turn there. We're going to look at Amos chapter 5. And we're going to look at verses 18 through 24, which was preached on in a sermon yesterday, and wanted to talk about kind of my reactions when I first heard it and a little bit after that. So again, Amos chapter 5, starting in verse 18. Alas, for you who desire the day of the Lord, why do you want the day of the Lord? It is darkness, not light. As if someone fled from a lion and was met by a bear, or went into the house and rested a hand against the wall and was bitten by a snake. Is not the day of the Lord darkness, not light, and gloom, with no brightness in it? I despise your festivals, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Even though you offer me your burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them, and the offerings of well-being of your fatted animals I will not look upon. Take away from me the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the melody of your harps. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. So I don't know about you, but just hearing that, I thought, goodness, that doesn't typically sound like what we think about with God, and all the things about giving praise to the Lord and bringing those offerings and all sorts of things. And it sounded bleak, and so I was interested to hear what our pastor was going to talk about with these. It almost sounds like it was saying I don't want you to praise God. I don't want to hear your songs. I don't want any of these things. And what I learned from the lesson instead is that what it's really saying is that it doesn't matter how many times or that we go and sit in a pew on church at Sundays or sing songs or what we do in any of those types of things that really matters. What does matter are the actions that we take to help that last verse, that quote that says, justice roll down like waters, and what we can do to help bring righteousness in the world. And what we talked about and took from that is that we as individuals and we as a church need to make sure that our actions aren't focused on just singing songs or coming in or doing any of those types of things, but that we are making actions to make a difference in the world in the way that He wants us to, in bringing love and bringing justice. So we need to stand up and take action in social justice. This was a week after Martin, or around celebrating Martin Luther King, and there's so much work to do in all racial structures and of justice and all sorts of forms of injustice. And we need to, as individuals and as a church, work for the oppressed. And it's, as we learned earlier in the month, it's not God's job to take away all the suffering of the world. And we as humans can help ease one another's suffering in our unity and in our actions to bring justice that rolls like waters. So that's what I wanted to bring and discuss today, and hopefully we can have more discussions about us bringing social justice and God's love into the world in future days.